Welcome back to the show. Well, every year around this time, we call upon our favorite local astrologer to predict the year ahead for not only us as hosts, but society in general for the greater good. Her name is Deborah Young. She's a local astrologer versed in numerology and runes and auras and tarot. In her line of work, she takes a deep dive into a person's birth chart and sacred map as well. And business is booming for Deborah. I was on your Instagram page just this morning, and it sounds like you're all booked up until the spring. So Happy New Year to you, if that's still good to say. And thanks for joining us. How are you doing?
I'm good, Paul. How are you?
I'm doing very well. As I say every year, and you've been coming on the show now since 2017, I think it's been 5 years. I still consider myself a bit of a skeptic when it comes to this. I know my mother-in-law is a firm believer, and according to your clients, there's a lot of believers out there. So just tell me a bit about how busy you are and your first workshop for the year.
I've always been busy. You know, it's something that isn't new. I changed how I book my sessions. I have an online booking system right now. So I open up every 3 months. And when I open up, I announce it on social media that I am opening up. And within hours, the appointments for a 3-month period will be gone. Within 2 or 3 hours. So they get booked up very, very quickly. The first workshop that I'm offering, it's actually I'm co-facilitating it with Ravi Tangri, and it's called You Were Born for These Times. And I firmly believe that each of us have something to, certain core traumas are being, triggered for each of us. That's simply true across the board. But we also have a gift, an incredible gift to offer both, coming into our own life as well as the collective. So that workshop is about unpacking some of the trauma that we've incurred over the last, 2 years, and about how to move forward. So, and some really good exercises that Ravi will offer, and certain key personal things for yourself that I'll be bringing that information forward. So I'm really excited about it. We have to start unpacking the trauma. We can't wait for this to be so-called over. We have to start unpacking it now. And why are we here? Both on a spiritual level, all the different levels. Like why would we choose? Because I believe that we choose to be born at a certain time. And why would we choose to be born and live through a pandemic? And what's that all about? So
what can you tell us about the times that we're in right now? We're in this Omicron variant. It seems like anxiety and tensions are higher than they've ever been the last couple of years. I'm sure that's maybe the first thing clients ask you when they get you one-on-one, right? Is why was I made for these times, and how do we get out of it?
Not really. They're more concerned with their personal life, and I think that's totally appropriate. It's obviously it comes up. It's the so-called elephant in the room. I always knew that there'd be either 3, 5, or 7 waves to the whole COVID thing in particular, and each variant has its own energy signature, has its own kind of way of manifesting in the world. This is the Omicron is going to spike very, very high, and it'll drop off pretty suddenly. In terms of the Maritimes or Nova Scotia in particular, we're going to see an escalation of cases, until at least after the full moon, which is January 17th, is the first full moon of the year. We'll start to see a shift for sure by January 24th when there's another change there. But I would say, the transmission is going to be super high over the next week or so. And, I don't look at it from a fearful way. I never have looked at it from a fearful way. When I hear case counts or hospitalizations, I link that or relate that to snowfall amounts. And I've always listened to that from that way where there is, if there's 10 centimeters of snow, I know how to adapt or work with that energy. If there's 30 centimeters, I know to bring the shovel inside. We're in a white wand situation right now, if anybody remembers that massive storm back years ago. And that's where we are, but we don't need to be fearful of it. We have a personal responsibility to take care of ourselves.
All right, good stuff there. We've got enough time for you to kind of get the charts for Elise and I again, as we like to do as an annual tradition. So what does 2022 look like for myself?
If I could just quickly say this, we're coming into a cycle of a lot of snafus in communication. We're kind of in that range right now. That hits next week, January 14th. It isn't. There's going to be, we have to, a lot of tech snafus and communication issues. That's across the board. That's across the world. There is, and just for the next week or so, something I really want your viewers to know, if they're not on my social media, is that for the next week or so, we could have, just a loss of a sense of purpose. And, so it's kind of confused directions, feeling lost and wandering. And trust me, that's only temporary. We'll be getting back on the horse, giddy up, go, when we clear that space about mid-January or so, about the January, around the full moon. So don't lose heart. This is a time, this year, we're certainly going to be realigning or recommitting to a spiritual path. Just this next week or so is a little bit of a tough piece in there where we can lose hope and promise, or the promise of moving forward. So just know that that's only a temporary situation. Don't hang on to that at all.
All right, good stuff there. We only got about 30 seconds left, so I want to jump to Elise.
Okay, but with Elise, one quick thing though with you, Paul, you're going to love May.
Okay, good.
You're going to really love the month of May. Oh, there you go.
May.
Interesting, because I see Elise in a relationship with somebody that would be from another country, and somebody that has definitely a Taurus vibe there. Somebody that would be born in end of April, May business.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. No tech snafus for this segment, so that's good. I'll take that for sure. Happy New Year.
Thank you. Happy New Year to you, Paul.